B, I think we need a petition for that song to only play on Fridays. Because why am I feeling a Friday mood at 8 a.m. on a Monday morning?
Why not? We just pump up that mood, right? Let's feel like a Friday every day.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, yesterday was World Vegan Day.
Yes.
And we decided to get an expert in. I'd like to welcome to the Morning Fix, Shivani Shah.
Oh, hello.
Do you want to say your full name? I can't pronounce the rest.
Well, I'm Shivani Shah Uusi-Einola, and I have been vegan for almost 6 years now, actually.
6 years?
Yeah.
What's the difference between vegan and vegetarians? Because I know Radhika and myself are vegetarians.
Yeah.
Or so I believe.
Yes. So essentially, just being vegan means that you cut out all animal produce. So when you're a vegetarian, you can have maybe milk and eggs, but vegans just plants, literally.
Just plants.
Yes.
And when did your journey start? Like, how did it start?
So it started when I was in high school, and this was when I was, I would say almost like an athlete. I was dancing 16 hours a week, and if I wasn't dancing, I was running 80 kilometers a week, and it's quite similar to the movie Game Changers, because I just needed something that would give me lots of energy, keep me fit, keep me slim, keep me high with the energy, and it was just a diet that worked really well for me.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
we've seen a lot of people take up veganism, especially some people think it's a Western world thing and you can't really do it with Indian food. But actually, I'm thinking about the Indian diet, and it is mostly plants, legumes, dal, all of that stuff is vegan. So what do you have to say about that? Do you get some criticisms maybe from some aunties and things like that?
And that's what I find so baffling, because definitely some of the aunties are just like, why would you do this? And I'm like, well, why would you not? And I'm just like, it's very similar. Again, cut out the paneer, cut out the cheese, cut out the dairy, but it's still very doable in an Indian diet. Definitely, I think it's so easy.
It is.
So are you going for it, B?
No.
What? Okay, well, maybe by the end of today I'll get a chance to convince you guys.
See, I'm actually not even a vegetarian. I'm an eggitarian.
Okay.
An eggitarian.
Yes, an eggitarian. It's actually a term.
It's actually ovo-vegetarianism.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you just you eat vegetarian and eggs.
Eggs.
That's a whole debate. Are eggs vegetarian? Do you know?
So actually, if you look at the classic definitions, there's lacto-vegetarian, ovo-vegetarian, and lacto-ovo-vegetarian, which are most people. And so it really just depends. I mean, same thing as well. There are a lot of gray areas, like is honey vegan or not? So it's all up for debate.
Okay, one last question I have for you. When we think of a vegan diet, we think people are eating grass out here.
Just rabbit food, all the lettuce.
Where are you getting enough food? Is it sustainable? And so a lot of people have concerns of, you're not getting protein, you're not getting fat, you're too skinny, you shouldn't even be vegan.
It's amazing how people who never usually would care about diets, all of a sudden when you say you're vegan, turns into nutritionists who want to know exactly what you're eating, are very concerned about your protein and vitamin intake. And I'm like, don't worry guys, I got it down. I'm eating a very nutritious, wholesome diet with lots of protein, and it just makes me feel good.
Oh, that's nice.
So B, by the end of today, I expect you to start your vegan journey.
This will be my personal project right here in the studio today.
Have you started veganism?
Listen, I'm struggling with vegetarianism, but we'll get there. We'll talk about this. For now, let's take a look at your traffic. You are not leaving this dinner table till you finish your greens. Do you remember hearing that as a kid?
Oh, the trauma, honestly.
Well, today we've been talking about going vegan. It's almost a new trend to be going vegan.
It really is a hot topic at the moment.
You see it everywhere. A lot of criticism against vegans as well. A lot of jokes.
I know, it's inevitable. It's inevitable.
Let me tell you a vegan joke.
Okay.
It's not going to be cheesy.
Bhargav, you know what, today you deserve this. Well, I have to ask you, Shivani, how was the journey transitioning to a vegan, and what were some of the challenges that you faced? Because it can be a bit of a drastic change, changing what you eat.
No, completely. I mean, so I'm half Finnish, and so just fish was something that was so predominant in my diet and such a part of my culture. So I think for me, the hardest thing was just trying to disconnect, looking at, cheese and not thinking of it as food anymore. It's a mental switch, honestly, and on and off, where it's like before, it's some things that might have been really tasty. Right now I look and I'm like, it's not really food I would eat. So not tempted.
It's not hard to look at a dead fish and be like, no thanks. Maybe it shouldn't be all vegetarian, two vegetarians interviewing.
Actually, yeah.
Fair enough.
True. But you know what? Now that Radhika has mentioned that I need to go vegan, you also want to take up this project. Convince me, why should I take up veganism? What are the health benefits?
Well, similar to your question earlier as well, when I first went vegan, I just remember having like so much energy. Like genuinely, I would eat food and I felt like a bunny rabbit. Like I just wanted to run around. And I mean, literally, the only way I get that way now is with lots of coffee. But, a lot of people, honestly, it sounds really selfish, but I just wanted to eat more and stay slim. Genuinely, that was like one of the first things. And, it was trending at the time. And you saw, a lot of yogis and people on this diet. And I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Let's try it out. And, then I got into the animal rights part of it and save the planet. And so here we are today.
Yeah, because you're right. It's not only a diet. It's also saving animals because they go through a lot of torture. I think torture is a good word for it when they're in the slaughterhouses. And then there's an environmental effect of breeding so many animals.
Exactly. And I mean, even just things that you wouldn't think, like deforestation and water pollution, things like the beef and dairy industry are such large contributors. And so, people don't make the connection between the food on their plate and what's happening in the process of it getting there. And so, just by removing a single burger patty on average is apparently 600 liters of water. So, I mean, it's just crazy, the transition,
I think it's also, when you go to the supermarket, the chicken is packaged and
plastic wrapping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you also then forget that this was once an animal and it's gone through this journey and it didn't just appear like that as a food.
No, genuinely, there's studies being conducted where a lot of kids in the States, for example, I mean, these are where the studies are done, they don't have the connection of the food on their plate and where it comes from. And so, I mean, it's kind of cute, but, a lot of kids would answer, where's chocolate milk from? And they'll say brown cows. But, I mean, the same way as well, people don't have that human connection because, you just pick up something off a shelf, but you don't see the process of the food getting there.
And I have a question. Have you ever gone to a party because, in big Indian bashes with paneer and this and that?
And meat.
Exactly. Have you ever been to one of these events and not had anything to eat?
I mean, the good thing is there's always usually chips or fries or salad. Well, there are Oreos as well. Oreos are fun. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it gets a little bit I might not be able to eat anything, but I'm like, not the end of the world.
Which party have you gone to where you found Oreos? I really need to sign up for this.
You need to find the cool parties with Oreos.
But then again, talking about food.
Yeah.
What's your basic order in a restaurant? Like when you go to a restaurant which has everything in the menu.
Yeah. I mean, so I just automatically tend to like the healthier things. And obviously some restaurants Italian food I struggle with sometimes because even fresh pasta has egg and all the cheese, of course. But something that's usually Asian based, vegetarian sushi is always a good option. Ethiopian food, weirdly, is my favorite. Again, very veggie based. Lebanese food. So there's a lot out there. You just gotta look.
Well, you know what? I think the proof is in the pudding because you can see your skin is glowing. You have a good physique. So veganism is working. I think we need to get on this deal.
True. Agreed now.
Well, if you have any questions about the vegan diet, 0758 123 444. You can also check out our social media where we have a post. Drop us some questions. You know us here at Radio 44 making a Monday feel like a Friday.
I literally was going to say that felt like a weekend vibe completely.
Yeah, my energy is all up. But today in the studio we have Shivani Shah. We're talking about veganism. And I was just thinking nowadays you see a lot of the vegan culture on Instagram. It's all about these pictures and the blogs. And a lot of people might say it's a Western thing.
I mean, there is that conception of it, but I mean, if you look at traditional diets, a lot of them are plant-based, I mean, if you look at a lot of the world's communities, even in Kenya and the States, everyone's diet is based around a starch. So it's rice, here we have maize flour, potatoes in the UK.
True.
So, I mean, a lot of the basis of diets are predominantly vegan. And I mean, if you look at countries like China, the largest nutritional study ever conducted was called the China Study, and it's, you know, it's looking at communities of rural Chinese people, and they're living over 100 years old, you know, quite easily, and it's just saying because of the diet.
Well, that's definitely true. But even like from a cultural perspective or even a religious perspective,
Yeah.
we see religions, number one, they promote vegetarianism,
Yeah.
especially in the
Hindu.
Indian continent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have Jainism, which
Yes.
has principles of non-violence that
Yes.
leaks over to their food. So they try not eat underground food to protect that life that is still important, regardless of if it's an ant or a big, you know, like a
Exactly.
big animal. So it's actually not that Western. If we look at principles of Jainism, which is
Exactly.
in our culture, there you go.
Jainism, Buddhism, I mean, it literally, I think it's just because of the Western social media and the prevalence that we see online that we think it's, you know, becoming more of
From
a
there.
Western diet. But, you know, like, again, it's a very holistic lifestyle that a lot of cultures and religious preach.
True. Talking about Western people, well, celebrities like Zac Efron, Benedict Cumberbatch, Beyonce, Madonna, all are following veganism. There are many more to that list.
So
yeah.
many more. Even
But-
Mike Tyson, like, what?
Yeah, yeah. You can imagine a boxer.
Yeah, a
you know,
proper athlete.
Yes,
Yeah.
having going vegan.
Yeah.
Right. So I can see that people are opting for veganism.
Yes.
Is that the future?
I completely agree. I mean, it's just the thing is, there's such a need for protecting the environment. You know, before maybe when we were hunter-gatherers, we needed to hunt for meat. But in today's world, we live in supermarkets that you can pick whatever you want. There's always an abundance of food. And so, you know, a lot of people are being mindful with their choices, not only for their health, but for the planet, for the animals. And, you know, I mean, food technology nowadays is just becoming ridiculous. You can get vegan burgers that bleed
Oh,
fake
yes.
blood. You know,
Yeah.
it's the technology is evolving so rapidly. So even the food technology that's being generated towards like diets like veganism is just going out of this world. So I think that, you know, in the future, you can get everything you want, but vegan.
Right. That's
love
true.
it.
But now run us through your day. How does your diet look like? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks.
What I eat in a day, I love this. So I mean, people think, you know, of course, it's just rabbit food, just salads, but you know, I mean, there's things like vegan pancakes, vegan donuts. I love my daily healthy smoothie, of course, very standard. Things like nice cream, which is literally like frozen bananas blended, so it's like I'm having ice cream for breakfast, not bad. And then of course, like Indian food, Indian curries. You know, it's just whatever vegetable basis you can have and just making it taste good with spices and flavorings.
I love it. Like even simple things like potato nushak. It's vegan. Just don't put ghee and it's
Exactly.
vegan, isn't it?
Yeah, completely.
So it's really simple. Bhargav,
It's
I'll
just-
check in with you in a month.
Just small switches, you know, it's I would say if you're trying to go even more plant-based, for some being strictly vegan is like a turn off, I
Yeah.
would say, because they feel it's too extreme. But, you know, just for everyone, for their health, needs to add more fruits and veggies to their diet. So just, you know, find fun, interesting ways to incorporate those into your diet and you'll be feeling so much better.
Well, there you have it from our vegan expert. If you have any more questions, we can always continue the conversation on social media at Radio 44 Kenya. For now, let's have a look at your traffic.
Traffic update.